Good morning, everyone. Thank you for getting quiet. We're all ready to go. Mr. Denton, are you ready? Thumbs up from Mr. Denton. Thanks for being here for our next set of speeches today. Parents and family members, we're glad you're able to join us in person as well. Our Voice and Vision speeches continue today. Are there any announcements today from adults? Fantastic. Our sixth graders are off on their Chesapeake Bay trip, so we're excited about that. Seventh graders, Ms. O'Brien and I have made the decision to have the mixer outside today, so there is a little bit of a chance of rain, so dress appropriately. There's plenty of porticos and things like that, so I will send that out to all the schools, so we're excited for our first ever outdoor mixer. The pandemic has allowed us to try lots of new things, like ice cream empty bowls last night. How yummy was that? That was fun. And Mr. Twining and your music team, thank you for a wonderful concert last night. We just absolutely loved it. Mr. Branch, Dr. Levitov, it was just fantastic. So there's lots of great events happening. We appreciate your flexibility as we tweak what we need to tweak because of COVID and then just keep going and celebrating so much to celebrate. So without further ado, oh, please. Fantastic. Any other announcements for our students? And a reminder that we are live streaming and recording, families, these speeches for you to be able to watch later on our YouTube channel. Without further ado, Palmer Dries.
Hello, middle school. My name is Palmer, and for my seminar project, I focused on raising donations and awareness for animal shelters. A question you might be asking is, why did I choose animal shelters for my project, and what's so important about them? At a young age, I was introduced to animal shelters, specifically one near my house. My sister, my mom, and I would often go and visit to read to the dogs or play with the cats. I always look forward to visiting, and the experience made me appreciate all that the animal shelters do for my community. This made me want to work with them on my project. 6.3 million animals are admitted yearly into shelters, and giving them a safe space for the time being till they find a permanent home is extremely important. I reached out to Barks, a local animal shelter in the Baltimore area, to ask a representative some questions about their mission and what they do. Alexa Jones, a Barks representative, told me Barks is one of the largest open admission shelters in Maryland, meaning they do not turn any animals down. It's a nonprofit organization dedicated to helping animals find homes. Shelters like Barks rely on donations to continue their mission, which is why donations are so important. I also asked her why she personally chose to work with animals, specifically Barks. She talked about her love for animals, especially dogs, and how pure animals are. In recent years, she's also adopted a dog from Barks. In March, I decided a drive would be the best way to get donations for Barks to show the Bryn Mawr community the impact they have on shelters, specifically local ones. I worked with Ava Richter, a fellow classmate, on getting donations for the animal drive because she was also collecting donations for an animal shelter based in Argentina. Some things we asked for were crates, sheets, blankets, and dog collars. It can be difficult for shelters to keep up with the cost of their most needed items and supplies. After creating a list of items for our drive, I put out a box and Ava put out flyers. A roadblock I hit was getting the boxes out in time, and eventually had to change the end date so the drive would have enough time for people to bring things in. I think that if we had gotten our emails and flyers out sooner, we could have had more donations, as well as if we had made an announcement to the middle school. Currently, we've collected dog collars, toys, and towels, and I'm still collecting donations with Ava, and we will give them to Barks in the next week or two. Among the 6.3 million animals admitted to shelters every year, 1.5 million are dogs, and cats are euthanized. Shelters can't hold the capacity of animals that need a home, and many come in a bad health state. To prevent this and aid shelters, donations and volunteering are the #1 things that can help. Supplies can be expensive, and items you have at home or buy at the store can make a big impact on animals' lives. From this experience, I learned how to contact organizations outside of Bryn Mawr community and speak with experts over the phone, which overall helped me get out of my comfort zone. If I had more time to work on my project, I would get more donations, as well as visit Barks with a couple of volunteers to get an inside view of what it's like to work at an animal shelter, as well as what it's like for the animals. Overall, I enjoyed the experience and have learned many life lessons from it, like communication skills and giving back to the community. Thank you for listening.
Okay, hi, my name is Beatrice Baum, and for my seminar project, I made a middle school athletics association. So I started the year knowing about seminar, but just having it in the very back of my mind with absolutely no idea what I wanted to do. But I was tasked with creating something real for someone real, something that sounds a lot easier than it actually is. If you know anything about me at all, you know that my life is practically centered around sports, specifically soccer. I love being competitive with people enjoying the same activity as I do, the exhilaration of scoring a goal and winning a game. So I decided to incorporate my love for sports into my project. I created an athletics association whose sole purpose was to increase the middle school spirit around sports and teammates. I believe that we as a community are at our best when celebrating each other. I always find it fun to have people cheering for me playing and to cheer for others playing. And when we played other schools, I noticed that during a middle school soccer game, they had many people coming to support their middle school team. For example, on a random Tuesday afternoon when our soccer team played Garrison Forest, there were many people from their schools with signs and cheering. We lost that game, maybe because they had some amazing players, but I'd also like to blame it on how excited their students were in the stands. So my project's main goal was to raise attendance and spirit at our school sporting events, something that was found in the upper school, but not as much in the middle school. I've seen the upper schoolers running spirit parades and pop-up activities, and that's just not something that we've done. So to start my project, I made an announcement to the middle school, which was a lot more scary than I thought it would be, and sent out a form to 7th and 8th graders asking who would be interested in joining a new middle school athletics association. I ended up receiving 22 responses, which was just about 22 more than I had expected. And even more surprisingly, I had 17 people show up to my first meeting, and the group quickly became committed to a great plan. I had also met with Coach Wolf, Ms. Feprick, and the Upper School Athletics Association to get more ideas and information about how they run their club, build spirit, and generate fans. And after meeting with them, I had many ideas and things I wanted to share with my club. The first thing we made were signs to hang in the north building. That's not the right. Signs to hang in the north building. With all of the home games for each squad, I was definitely a little overly excited to be hanging small signs, but they were very fun to make and thrilling to see during the day. We did other small activities consisting of making locker notes for players, going to games, and in the end, creating a minute-to-win-it convocation. When I had listened to all my peers share their seminar experiences in the winter, they all talked about their setbacks. And while listening to them, I had envisioned my project with no setbacks at all. And that was certainly not the case. Through this process, I learned more about working with a big group of people, being adaptive, and also writing a good email to adults. I learned that not everything had to be perfect, and learning from mistakes and improving from them is much more important than not having any, which is something I am still trying to improve on. I hope I started something that will last beyond this project, and that 6th and 7th graders may want to carry forward. So if you're interested, come let me know.
Hi, my name is Alex Gormand, and for my seminar project, I decided to make a YouTube channel that focuses on the specific carbohydrate diet. I am 14 years old, and ever since I was 10, I've suffered from Crohn's disease. For most people who don't know what that is, I don't blame you. As a 10-year-old child, none of this made sense to me. According to the Mayo Clinic's website, they state, Crohn's disease is a type of inflammatory bowel disease. It causes inflammation of your digestive tract, which can lead to abdominal pain, malnourishment, and believe me, other symptoms you don't want to hear about. The doctors told me the only real way for me to treat this was to have harsh medication infused into my vein that could affect my physical health and overall well-being. This terrified me, and my mom and I didn't think this was the best solution. So we did some research and came across a diet called the Specific Carbohydrate Diet, or SCD. The SCD diet is a gluten-free, dairy-free, sugar-free, soy-free, and other specific food-free diet. I know that's a lot, but after a while I began to adjust and get used to it. This diet was so helpful to me and allowed me to steer away from any medication I didn't want to be involved with. An article from MedVirginia EDU states, on average, this diet is also rated to be 91.3% effective in controlling acute flare symptoms and 92.1% effective in maintenance of remission of IBD. IBD is an umbrella term for chronic illnesses just like Crohn's. When seminar came around, I knew I wanted my project to be centered around how I chose to treat this disease. Then I had an idea. I decided to create a YouTube channel where I could upload videos about SCD-compliant foods. This idea seemed perfect. I mean, what could go wrong? I could cook, which I like, talk, which I'm definitely good at, and get to eat delicious food. What could be better? I soon realized I was wrong. I mean, making a whole YouTube channel, that's a lot of work. But it's what I wanted to do, and my heart was set on the idea. So, as my first step, I needed to do an abundant amount of research. Even though I have Crohn's, I needed to know way more information to create a YouTube channel about the topic. I got in contact with some fantastic people to hear their opinion on Crohn's and how my channel could help. One person I spoke to was my personal Crohn's doctor, Dr. Enrica Kutch. She mentioned how creating a space for young kids with Crohn's could allow them to have an outlet and someone to connect to, seeing as most people struggle to understand what they're going through. I realized that my overall goal for my seminar project was just that, creating a space where I could upload healthy recipe videos and maybe allow someone to feel like they're not going through this experience alone. Now that I knew my overall goal, it was time to put my project into action. I purchased a DJI Air 2S camera, a ring light, and a tripod. I had all the equipment I needed. Then I prepared videos for about a month, and once I had around 20 video ideas, I was ready to film. I made a YouTube channel called Alex Eats SCD. I tried to make it catchy and began creating my content. I decided to upload 2 videos before I reached out to anyone to publicize it so my channel would quickly engage people. Shortly after I got my second video up, I reached out to a Facebook group of moms whose kids have Crohn's and told them about my channel. Only 25% of people who have Crohn's get diagnosed with it before they turn 20, so I wanted this channel to be where those 25% could feel at home. The moms were all very enthusiastic and supportive, and in about 24 hours, I had gained around 70 subscribers. In order to create a foundation for my followers, I began posting on a weekly basis so I could create a place where people could rely on me as a resource. So far, I've made cookies, ranch dressing, and black bean burgers, so here's a small clip from my black bean burger recipe.
And then I added back to my food processor half the black beans, my almond flour, my egg, my cumin, and my salt and pepper. I put my top back on, and now I'm going to pulse it for a couple times until it gets to a rough paste.
Now I have over 100 followers, and I'm so grateful for the small community I have created. I can't wait to continue this project into the future and hopefully maintain the positive environment I have created for the people who enjoy it. Thank you so much for listening.
You guys did a fantastic job. Thank you so much for continuing to inspire us. Really appreciate it. We have certificates to honor the work that you have done in your capstone leadership seminar. So first up is Palmer Dries with Supply Drive for Barks. Isn't that a great certificate? Next up is B. Baum with Athletic Association for the middle school. Great job. And Alex Gormand, YouTube channel for SCD. Thank you for joining us today. You do have a little extra time before your third period class, so enjoy a little extra break, and you're there at 10:20. Thanks for joining us. Bye-bye.